Welcome, everyone, and I will call it 7 p.m., and I'm calling this meeting to order. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes?
Yes.
Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you.
And I will just note, I will abstain since I was not at that meeting.
Review and sign bills?
There are no bills. this
No
evening.
bills. Board member comments. I will start. The vice chair and I met with the CPC committee on June 3rd. We have two members from the CPC committee, Vice Chair Jason Molina and Kathleen McSweeney, Commissioner and Secretary of the Shrewsbury Housing Authority, will be working together with us. We have a meeting scheduled for next week, next Friday, and trying to come up and develop a plan on how we can work together in the allocation of the funds. That is all that I have. Are there any new business?
Yes, so the first item is the joint working group, which you, joint working group, the Community Preservation Committee update. I was, as the chair has spoken, the delegates were present at the June 3rd CPC meeting, and we will have the joint meeting on June 21st at 1 p.m. through Google Meets, and subsequent meeting times and the frequency of the meetings will be determined at the meeting.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions. The housing production plan update?
Yeah, so we've decided, after sending out the RFP and the quotes to the 3 different consultants, after kind of internal review, we decided that the timelines that the consultants came back with us were much longer than anticipated. And based on the previous housing production plan update in 2019, we are confident that we will kind of do it in-house internally. So we're currently in the process of doing data collection, and community outreach will happen at a later date once we finish the data collection. Right now we're using the Census.gov's new data explorer called data.census.gov, which is a fairly recent tool to help look at demographics and housing characteristics. And using this tool, we're updating and recording census data to be used in the new housing production plan update.
So with the change, will that delay the process or keep us still on track?
We're anticipating to actually, because with the hearings, with the public forums that will happen, and the consultants kind of taking into account everything, it was going to be at a much later date, I think in either January or February, and we wanted to do it by later in the fall. So I think if we do things in-house, I think that'll save us some time.
So target fall 2024,
Yeah, probably.
give or take.
Yeah.
Any questions? No questions. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one, Community Preservation Committee.
Yeah, so this item was, put on the agenda just to see if any of the board members have any additional comments, because the CPC opened up the comment period for it by another month. So if you have any additional comments, you can put that up in the Google Sheets that we shared before.
Did last month.
Yeah, so if you have any additional ones, yeah, you can put some more comments.
Okay.
Yep. All right. That's right. That's the one we did the round table.
Yes, and they had the different.
Yeah.
um,
Okay, yeah, so
we
I
went through
did
that,
have
yeah.
some, so I'll update that as well on my end. Okay. Moving on, the MBTA zoning.
Yeah, so today the planning department met with the consulting group who conducted the economic affordability analysis to discuss an update which reflects the new revised zoning proposals. So we, after feedback from the state, we kind of changed the zoning to kind of not include the Christmas tree shops, but more include where 409 South Street is, as well as 333 to 69, the Pulte Homes farm, that development. So we just talked with the consultant to see what would the reflected changes be. And so staff, we're working with the consultant to evaluate the potential to justify the maximum affordability of 20%, because it's hard to kind of do that, because with the higher affordability, it's less profitable to developers.
Okay.
So a lot of small developers can't really usually go between 12 to 15%. So justifying a higher cost, we're seeing that if we can do that in Shrewsbury.
Yeah, I've seen that, and that's a challenge.
It is a
as well.
challenge.
I mean, the only way I can see them increasing is also, increasing the size of the development as
It
well.
is. And, we are cognizant that we're trying to, reduce the number of units, because we know the community would like the minimum as possible, not a huge number, so.
So we'll be looking more at the 60% and higher and above of the AMI?
For the AMI, I think, well, first we'll have to, with the EOHLC, to do anything lower than 80%, I think you would also need other approval. So we are working with the consultant. And yeah, we anticipate, because the consultant is also working with other towns, so we would hope to hear back from them by July of the revised zoning proposal that we sent them.
Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what they say, because, 80% AMI is still
It's still very high.
high.
So if we want to, pursue that deeper affordability, we have to hear back from that, hear back from the economic feasibility analysis, the study.
Is the consultant working with other MBTA communities? Or is it just other towns?
I think, I think they are working with other MBTA communities, yeah. Because they did talk about Stoneham and Concord in our meeting, of that, like, they've also just gave examples of what other towns have received feedback. And so we're waiting to hear back from them.
Good question. Is it possible for our board to supplement a developer so we can get that deeper affordability? Or if they're not gonna make the money on the units, are we able to say, here, we'll give you this chunk of money to make up for it?
I think that would be an option as well, if they're
Well, that's what
open
I'm
to
wondering.
that.
Is it an option to do that, to get that deeper affordability that we might not otherwise be able to get?
We can offer that, but I think that they would have to come to us, and request the funds, and then we can discuss what the affordability restrictions would be, and see if they're in agreement with that in order to proceed.
Where there's a bathroom?
Behind you, in the hall.
Any other questions?
No real questions from me. Just for clarity, for when community members hear the word consultant, I think they, kind of wonder who that is, who the group is. So, just for clarity, the consultant is CMRPC, correct?
Sorry.
No, CMRPC, EKG Associates.
I'm sorry.
Why it started to talk.
I'm sorry, can you repeat it?
It's not CMRPC.
It is not
It's
CMRPC.
the, who MHP kind of, I think it's the, MHP kind of, with the grant that we got, they kind of tied us in with another consulting group, but I'm
Oh,
not sure
different.
the exact name of it, but I'll check.
Okay.
So that's Metro Housing Partnership that's
Mhm.
providing that?
Right.
Okay.
They're providing that
Interesting.
connection between us and a consultant.
Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? All right. Okay, so we can move on to the next item on the agenda, and that is this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. So will that feasibility analysis be done also this fall, or would that be done?
We are
sooner?
anticipating to hear back by July,
July.
end of July.
Started talking.
Do you have any other questions on this
No.
topic? Okay.
Now that my computer stopped talking, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll move on to the next item, and that is the CMRPC Regional Housing Coordinator.
So, so this is kind of for a position at the CMRPC for a regional housing coordinator who will provide support for housing production related issues that Shrewsbury and other towns may face. So it's Shrewsbury and other towns kind of partnering together with the CMRPC. Previously, so the term of the agreement should be 1 year for the fiscal year 2025. And it was previously funded through a grant that CMRPC received. And now that the grant is over, the CMRPC is now asking the different towns to kind of collectively fund the position.
So we originally signed up for, it was 4 hours a week?
4 hours per week, yes.
Was that sufficient?
That was sufficient, and we, the planning department recommends 4 hours again as well.
And then the rate is just a small bump from last year? The cost, I think.
It is, but last year it was funded.
a grant,
So it was a
so-
grant, so we did
so,
not spend that money.
But the overall cost is just less than $1,000, I think it is, correct,
It
for the
is.
4 hours?
What is it? For 4 hours. it would have been- So I think the assessment is I think 16,720, the whole assessment. So I think the whole item, I think for a town selecting average of 4 hours. So from this, I'm not completely sure if that number is reflecting how each town would pay that much, or if that is the total, but I'm thinking that because if it's 4 or 5 towns, and each town pays about 16, does 4 hours, 16,000, that would add up to the salary of 78,000, so I think it would be 16,720.
720.
Yeah,
And is that from our funds?
I believe so. That would be from the fund. Because this, I think one of the, I believe one of the major, the support that the regional housing coordinator will help us in is, especially since we're doing in-house, is with our housing production plan. So some of the data and some of the outreach, the regional housing coordinator can help, coordinate that.
Sorry. Any questions about, sorry, dropping my notes here. Any questions about having the regional housing coordinator for 4 hours? No?
No?
So it's one that will require a vote. So if I can get
Yeah.
a motion.
I will move that we vote to approve 4 hours of the regional,
Housing coordinator.
thank you, regional housing coordinator for fiscal year 2025.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So move. Next on the agenda, any correspondence?
No correspondence this evening.
No correspondence. So before we adjourn, can we confirm our next meeting?
I believe it is on a Wednesday, which is unusual because it's usually on a Thursday. I think it is Wednesday, the 10th, according to my calendar. I can always
That is correct. That's what I have, okay?
check back with Chris and confirm that this is the actual date, because we usually have it on Thursdays. But according to our calendar, it says Wednesday, the 10th, at 7 p.m.
Everybody good with that?
I'm good.
You good?
Yes.
Works for us.
All right.
All right. So the last item is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye,
Thank you.
thank you.